I'm Tim, welcome to Watch You Want, and thanks for logging on. Today, we're looking at the Panerai Luminor Marina PAM 366 FU, part of a limited edition of 1,500 watches, 44mm in stainless steel, released for the 2010 model year and exclusive to Far Eastern markets. This watch represents Panerai's acknowledgement of one of its most important modern markets and its most important group of consumers, the Chinese language audience and luxury watch consumer. Now you can see on my wrist, 6 1/3 inches, 16 centimeters in circumference. It wears like a classical Panerai Luminor in 44mm. Now, it's more or less a cushion case, so about as tall as it is wide. With very short lugs, it sits comfortably. Even though I have a smaller wrist, it has a nice regular flat case back. It has an exceptionally comfortable calfskin leather strap, and with a traditional pin buckle to adjust and fix the strap itself, there's a lot of flexibility in how it fits. If you like to wear your watch tight, loose, or adjust it during the course of activity or during a hot or a cold day, you've got that flexibility, very comfortable. Likewise, you can see the thickness of the watch. Just over 13mm. It's not oppressively thick, and it is a manual wind watch, so there's not a lot of complication to stack the case height too high, and with a fair amount of curvature to the crystal and tumble home to the bezel, this is a watch that's quite viable with all but the absolute tightest dress cuffs. You can fit it under a long sleeve with ease, especially if it's a jacket. No problems there. It's also a surprisingly formal aesthetic for a Panerai Luminor, featuring the fully polished bezel, lugs, and case, as well as a bolstered black calfskin leather and corresponding calfskin leather top and bottom construction. Very soft, very supple, tapers notably with less bolstering as it moves away from the wrist, and features a gorgeous off-white or simulated patina stitch. Very beautiful, very nicely done, and with a matching full polished trapezoidal Panerai pin buckle, you've got both a complementary styling element and a very functional, very flexible fixture for the strap itself. Now the watch moving inboard from the polished case features a dial that's entirely unique to this model. The construction is a traditional Panerai sandwich, so a fully loomed disc with a stencil featuring the indices, the Arabic numerals, and the character FU cut out, then placed over that fully loomed disc. The loom comes through, allowing an exceptionally thick layer to be used without stacking up high above the dial. It has outstanding nighttime legibility, and in the tradition of Panerai combat watches, the legibility during the day is also outstanding. It has an honest tool aesthetic to it, but what's new here is the introduction of the FU symbol at 6 o'clock, replacing the numeral 6 appropriately with something a bit more auspicious. This character in the Chinese language represents a virtuous life, a fortunate, charmed existence, all things good, auspicious, boding well for the future, and also comedy, happiness in the present. This is a multifaceted concept with a rich meaning that can be interpreted in a large number of ways. Just as no luxury watch means the same thing to any two people, FU can mean a number of good things to many different beholders, and that's really the point of this watch. It's acknowledging the depth of interest that the Chinese language market has in Swiss watches, giving them something Swiss, something a little bit Florentine, but also something that acknowledges the importance of the culture to the Swiss watchmakers, an important piece of economic symbiosis. Now the other features of the dial are just a little bit unique. You can see the oxidized hour and minute hand at center, black oxidized so that they blend in nicely, and also a simulated patina treatment of all features. Now the simulated patina, which is just a little bit faded, a little bit off-white, a little bit ecru, it evokes the look of a aged, mid-century Panerai military combat watch, originally built for the Italian military and used by many of their allies through the 1950s. Panerai was really the first elite special forces combat instrument watch. As such, it had to be legible, it had to be durable, and many of the survivors boast this fading radium loom look that's echoed in the simulated patina style of the PAM 366 dial. Now, in the 1990s, the watches became available on the civilian market, and in making the transition from military supplier to luxury watchmaker, Panerai retained many of its signature elements from the combat years, notably the device protecting the crown. And although the FU, like I said, represents something new and something old, this particular element is very old school. fully brushed so it reads separately from the bezel in the case. It's a full all-aspect crown guard that doubles as a unique alternative to the screw-down system used by Rolex, Omega, and Breitling. It allows you to instantly wind the watch without having to screw it out, pull the crown. If you want to set the watch, now we're in the setting position, and then you simply pop it back in. There's no need to work the crown seals over and over again, screwing out and screwing it in. You simply apply the locking lever, and now you have 30 ATM, 300 meters, 1,000 feet of hermeticity, all the water resistance you'll ever need, and you get the fun of operating the locking lever to do it. It's useful because you can use it when your hands are sweaty, when your hands are wet, when your hands are gloved, and you get instant access to the crown's setting and winding functions. Now, like I said, the theme here is something old and something new, and you do get something new with the device protecting the crown, because the Fu being a 2010 limited edition, it features the post-2007 runner bearing inside the actual cam at the bottom of the locking lever. You can sort of see it. It's a little dot on the cam, but it's a small bearing that glides rather than scrapes with friction against the outer surface of the crown. So it's a smoother, more luxurious action when you open and close the locking lever. Sometimes new can be beautiful and new can be wonderful. Now the rest of the watch features the traditional 44mm refinements that you would expect in any Panerai Luminor Marina. Inside, a manual wind caliber OP2 from Panerai based on the Unitas 6497 pocket watch movement. The original Panerai 3646 and 6152 combat watches were built by Rolex for Panerai, and they all featured pocket watch movements inside. That continues with the 6497. Being manual wind, it allows the watch case to be fairly thin for what it is, and it also gives you remarkable durability. Now, the watch features a swan's neck regulator to keep the index that produces fine adjustments of the balance fixed against shock. It also has an abundant 56-hour power reserve, which is far more than the industry standard of about 42 hours, so you're set in that respect. It winds brilliantly with a nice audible click as you wind through the detents. It's a real pleasure to wind this watch, hardly a chore. And if you're a luxury watch enthusiast, if you love mechanical watches, you'll look forward to that moment of your day. What it also has is precision. A COSC certified Swiss chronometer, it's an exceptionally accurate timepiece. So not only true to history, but fine in the modern sense and precise as you would expect a luxury watch to be. This is the Panerai Luminor Marina PAM 366, the Fu, one of 1,500 44mm in polished stainless steel, available on our website, Watch You Want.